How's everybody doing today? Today we're in the garage and we're going to talk about our projects and sometimes how our projects, well, seems like they consume us. So we want to ask ourselves, why do we do them? I mean, what's the point? And I know all about having projects. All my friends will tell you I got too many projects. Truth of the matter is, it's what keeps me going. It's what's the passion for what it is I love to do. But the biggest project of my life has been my 69 Daytona Pro Mod. I acquired this car about 8 years ago. Painted a guy's semi for it, and he ended up giving me the car. He's now a pretty good friend of mine. I was going to build it as a big block 4-speed, make it a driver. The problem is someone already butchered up the back half of the car, so I decided that, well, we're just going to finish off and make it into a race car. I bought a kit with all the tubing to build a chassis. The problem is when we started assembly, we realized that it was for a 7/8 scale 69 Charger Pro Mod, and nothing fit. So I had to scratch most of it and start all over and start bending everything myself. So when it comes to projects, I know about projects. I got enough of them, that's for sure, and sometimes they're overwhelming. It's been a lot of work and a lot of weekends with a lot of friends building this chassis, but nothing's worse than the body work. I had to stretch the quarters. I had to hang fiberglass doors that were too big. The deck lid didn't fit right. But with the help of my wife, my daughter, my friends, my family, it's a lot of pain, but at the end, I suppose we had a lot of fun. Pro Mod still has a long ways to go, and we finally got it painted. But one thing I can tell you is, I'll never build another one again. It just consumes too much of my time. And that's not the half of it. Wait till we get into some of the problems that we've had to deal with, such as the floater rear end. Now the floater rear end, I ended up piecing it together. I bought new spindles, and I bought the center section, you know, the hubs, I mean. And I got brakes, I got rotors, and I have everything but the drive flanges. I figured no big deal, I can go ahead and build the rear end, and then I can buy the drive flanges when I buy the axles. The problem is when I started getting to that point, they decided to discontinue this model floater rear end with the drive flange that I need. Can't even buy the part. Been looking on the internet to buy used for about, well, 3 years. Problem is if I buy used and then I ever hit the wall and I destroy that side of the car and ruin the spindle and then the hub for the floater, well, I'm stuck cutting up a whole rear end now and gotta buy all brand new stuff. But that's only one of many problems. The driver's side's got a brand new quarter hung on it. Back when a company first came out with full quarters for the Charger, I believe I got like literally the first run. Started building the car, hung the quarter panel, ended up finding out that one side is 3/8 of an inch longer than the factory original side on the passenger side. So you can imagine what that did for, putting in the back window plug or the deck lid and the problems with getting the wing lined up so it looks square in the back. So what I ended up doing, go to the door jamb, whacked off 3/8 of an inch and started welding back up. As you well know, when you get into big projects like this, it never ends and ends up costing a lot of money, and you get very frustrated, you get very angry. So the truth of the matter is, don't give up on your project. That's all I can tell you. I mean, this has been 8 years of my life. I have bought and sold vehicles, I have done side jobs, you name it. I've fixed lawnmowers just to buy parts for this car. But you got to put it on the back burner sometimes. Other things come into play. I got 2 girls that are racing right now, and I'm bringing my old car out to go racing this year. So I decided that we're going to let the Pro Mod sit. I got to walk away from it. We just keep having problems after problems, and I'm just getting tired of dealing with it. and I need to take a step back. Because if you don't take a step back, what ends up happening is you get that drive, just like, you know, for example, you get to the drag strip, and then one thing leads to another, and the things start becoming just half-assed. And then you start regretting, you know, as the project gets closer to done, then you find yourself wanting to go back, you know, I'm going to fix this because I don't like it. And next thing you know, you're doing work twice. Sometimes, guys, you're better off just walk away. Take a breather. Maybe for a week. I try to preach, try to get one thing done a day. Get one thing done a day when you're enjoying it. Sometimes you're not going to enjoy it. It's very frustrating. We're not even got into the whole nose of the car. That was a big project. I took fenders from a 70 Charger, a hood from a 70 Charger, but I put a Superbird nose on the front of it instead of a Daytona. Believe it or not, they're different. Everybody thinks they're the same, and they ain't. Superbird nose slopes down more. Daytona's more like a doorstop. I wanted that downforce in the front end, so I ended up, you know, using a Superbird nose and molding it and gluing it and fabricating a whole cage on the inside. Ends up taking a lot of your time. The project's got a long ways to go. So when you're out there in the garage and you're working on your project and you know that it's just to the point it's getting frustrating, don't give up. Take a step back, take a breather. Because if you don't, you start half-assing shit together, and next thing you know, you're just not happy with the product, you know, the product. And sometimes projects do take a long time. But in the meantime, I'm also, you know, I have built the dually. I've also built my wife's race car. As you guys that follow me know, I'm building a custom motorhome. And the list goes on and on and on. And I was still racing the old car when I was building this one. So don't get discouraged. It takes time. Good friends always help. And I got some good friends that have been through me every step of the way because, well, some of them, they just like being here to help out, and some of them like to see what it is that I'm going to create next. And they're learning too, and I'm learning from them. That's all I got to say today, guys. I hope you have good luck with your project this weekend. If you guys like what I got to say, subscribe to my YouTube page, In the Garage. Peace out. We'll be talking to you soon.